Hello, hello, and welcome to Death Cafe with me, your Latinx bruja, Pastel Supernova. This is where I do my part to offer heart-led conversations about death, dying, and loss. I'll be sharing personal stories, and also I will introduce you to very insightful minds who have all kinds of things to say about everything to do with the inevitable. In this episode, you will meet Candace. Candace is a very cool polymath based out of the west coast of Canada. She and I graduated from the Rhodes Death Doula certification program in BC. And now we talk about how she's moving forward with her new certification, skills, and plans. She also remembers a dear friend who passed not too long ago. And she also offers a something to look forward to, a special little spiritual nook she's building for anyone and everyone. Hello!
Hello, Pastel. So good to see you.
It's great to see your face again.
Yes, it's me, Candace Cruikshank, newly certified end-of-life doula and costume designer in the film industry.
Yes, for our audience members, I had the pleasure of taking my death doula training program with Candace via Zoom. And we actually did our first project together as a podcast. So this feels familiar and lovely.
Yes, thank you so much, Pastel. And hopefully my nerves don't come across like they did when we first started that. You helped me a lot, though. You made it tolerable. So I appreciate that a lot.
It was fun. I liked it. That's why I thought of you and some other cohort members to talk again because you're full of knowledge and more than anything, you've got this really huge heart. And I would like for people to get to know you better.
Oh, thanks, Pastel. I appreciate it. And congrats on the podcast.
I remember something about you in class was that you had such presence to other people's conversations when people were sharing. I remember really seeing you actively listen without the active listening skills that everybody does now, which kind of make me want to punch people all the time. All they're doing is just repeating back at you, and you're like, "Yeah, okay, cool. You heard me. I got it." But but I remember seeing your face and even like watching you breathe when there was a big share and watching you be moved. And I just thought she's going to be a really good doula.
Aw, thanks, Pastel. I appreciate that. Pretty empathetic person. And the sharing that was going on in that cohort was just so incredibly moving, like you said. And I was kind of shocked day after day and constantly grateful for the experience. And then, like, reflecting back on my life and thinking how lucky I am, you know? And it was just an experience that I'll treasure forever. Kind of changed me for sure. I think it changed a lot of people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
How has your time post certification been? How have you shared with others that this is something you can do now?
Well, it seems to come up a lot. And I'm actually people started reaching out to me that have known me in the past and from social media where I post, like, we've all been posting that we're newly certified and how much we miss each other and all that. And I'm getting people approaching me and asking me what it's all about and just wanting to have conversations about it because they understand what maybe a birth doula is, but they don't understand what a death doula is. And so when I explain it, they're like, "Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense." And then the conversation just takes off. And as far as a business, goes, I definitely think there's going to be something happening very soon with that. I've been dragging my heels just a little bit because I've been have a lot of personal things going on where I want, and personal things where I've felt a great deal of loss. So I feel like I need to strengthen my foundation a little bit before I feel like I can help other people to my max. One of the things I do want to do, and I might be doing it faster than I thought, is opening up a store here in Mission with a little spiritual component. And hopefully that kind of leads me where I'm needed, I think.
I love that. Okay, so tell me about this store.
Well, it will feature mostly things from my costume design kit because I own a lot of belts, hats, jewelry, accessories, a lot of fun stuff. I'm just paying for it in storage right now. Film industry is stagnating right now. And the usual just sit by the phone is just, excruciating, right? So the last time this happened, it was about 2008, and I had started taking a hiatus to actually get to know my family better. And I had opened up a store, and I was commuting and doing both for a couple of years. So this was me taking a break, and the film industry at the same time did the same thing, and it just coincided. So now I think like it's happening again. And if you look to the stars are in the same alignment as 2008. So
Yeah.
it feels like it's a repeat. So if I set the store up, it'll give me purpose. It'll give me a place to make money, to take all these things and exchange it for money, hopefully. And the spiritual part is I saw this really cool thing online of a store down in the States that had taken this little section of their store and made it into a place for any any denomination to write a little prayer down, and you could either put it in a jar or you could pin it to the wall. And I want to do that in my store. And I think we will start a lot of conversations, and I'm going to have every deity I can think of on the wall and hopefully make everybody feel welcome.
I love that because I remember seeing a video of that, or I don't know how it got to me, but I thought, oh my God, I want to do that too. I think I saw some people who were returning back to write a thank you letter after their prayer or wish had been acknowledged and seen through, which to me is just like, okay, now you've got this like space in your store that's only going to attract more and more gratitude and bounty and like genuine love.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to create. And we'll see where it goes from there. I'm still trying to figure out my community and what's available here for, say, green burial and things like that. So that's a whole other world. I'm about to start knocking on doors and talking to people and looking at the hospice here, which is something you're doing now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I volunteer at a hospice now. I've been there for a few months and it's wild
Yeah.
to in a
New experience.
yeah, because I'm like, oh wow. But it's pretty incredible. I gotta say. It's it's a lovely space. And the staff there is exactly what you would want in a hospice. They're open-hearted and busy. They're busy. They're around the clock. It's a small hospice. Their in-house hospice only has 9 beds. And even then, it's like we have volunteers constantly, and they do day hospice for people who don't have space to come in yet, or perhaps aren't at a level that they want to be in hospice. Like once you come in, you do have to be like in a certain amount of advanced stage of your life-limiting diagnosis. And they have outpatients as well, so some hospice workers will go out into their own homes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so as a volunteer, you can be either in residence or volunteer to work specifically with families or a person in their home.
That's unreal generous of you. I really admire you for doing that.
It's really incredible. I have never really known hospital, so I understood a layman's version of what a hospital means and what nurse and doctors can provide. But seeing them in action is really powerful.
Yeah, next level, right? I bet.
It's powerful and also makes me really astonished at the fact that anybody could think that there is no space for compassion work within a place like that because we all really need every element. I mostly have been like natural everything, and I do believe in medicine, and I just have personal views on how often it's prescribed versus a holistic treatment. But in hospice, because it's more patient centered, just off the bat, nobody's trying to deal with the illness in terms of getting rid of an illness. We're all there and surrounding someone specifically. We're not surrounding the disease.
Yeah.
We're really surrounding somebody, watching uh, people just be held by relative strangers who are doing everything to keep someone comfortable, happy, entertained, just like at ease, however it is that they want. If you want space, cool. It's just, it's a heart opener for sure.
What a blessing.
Yeah.
What a thing. you know? Um, I'm gonna have to look into that locally, get involved. Sounds pretty cool.
I could see you loving it.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally. There's no bullshit.
yeah, I like that. I like that. I like when all that stuff's stripped away. you know,
Yeah.
everyone's being authentic. That's where I feel the best. So maybe, yeah, maybe I will.
The first few weeks that I worked, I'd come home like exhausted. And it wasn't, people are like, oh, is it depressing or blah, blah. It's not, but it is a practice in being present. You're so present while you're
Takes
there.
on energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
didn't realize, I pride myself on I am here and I am listening and yeah, whatever. Like, not really. It's easy to think you're here and listening when everybody's like, yeah, so what's up? Cool. But
yeah.
uh yeah, and it's brought me back into more child spirit, I think, because the curiosity has to, if you're not genuinely curious about what's going on around you, everything's exhausting.
Right.
It's crazy. Then I think of doulas and how we're going to go out into worlds, and by worlds I mean private homes, and you know, hopefully recreate place of ease and compassion.
Right at home.
Yeah. But around
Yeah.
here, nobody really seems to know what death doula is. I'll say death doula, and it has to be repeated almost as often as I have to repeat my name. People are like, what's your name?
Yeah.
And what do you do? And I'm like,
Yeah. I know. You know what? I find that actually people like the words death doula over end of life doula. I
mhm.
don't know why. When I say end of life doula, everyone seems to think that I've been licensed to kill people.
I got that as well. Yes. Oh, so you do maid? Uh,
No, I might be at a maid ceremony to help the family or the dying, but I will not be doing that. That's a medical person. So yeah, then you have to go into no, it's no medical stuff at all. It's all emotion and maybe a little physicality, but yeah, I think we're all figuring it out still.
yeah.
Yeah, it's being like an old profession pulled forward because of need, and I think
Yeah.
Everywhere I turn now, there's a certificate course that you could take of some form to touch on all the stuff that we learned in ours. But I think there's going to be more and more people understanding, even like by month here. I think it's going to ramp up. At least I hope so. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, for our sakes, but also for everybody else's benefit. I don't know about you. Tell me about your responses. So some things that have stuck out to me, other than people assuming, oh, that's hard, or doesn't that creep you out? That those are two that I'm like, no,
Yeah.
not at all. But something I get more often than not is, so you're just there? And I say, yeah, people need companionship. They need to talk. They need to not talk. They need someone who's just going to be there. Well, but that's like kind of selfish and expensive for like no reason. And then we get into talking about the importance of what true self-care is and what people need. I've met a lot of fast-paced people who are like, well, if it's not necessary. I'm like,
Is it?
are you sure? Would you like to talk about this further? Because I completely disagree with you.
Yeah. I think people are undervaluing the intensity of loneliness.
Yes.
I hear lonely feelings of loneliness and symptoms, and long-term loneliness is becoming a disease,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Too many people are alone all the time, and it's not healthy. So we need to start thinking differently. And self-love is, the big buzzword these days. Self-love doesn't mean self-care. Self and self-care are different. Being alone is uh, punishment, but it's also a self-imposed punishment if you don't start reaching out.
Going through
Exactly.
life-limiting diagnosis, going through grief, it is not the same as privacy and alone time. It's incredibly healing.
Yes, agreed. And levels of grief and loss are like, even if it's just losing a pet, losing a job, all of it can impact you as much as losing your husband or losing your grandma or losing your brother. So we have to start uh, stop comparing
Yeah.
our grief and loss and just deal with our grief and loss, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I get that must be really sad and depressing a lot. Yeah. But I usually just turn the conversation to, we got to rebrand death. We got to talk about death in a different way because it's as much as part of life
Mm,
as anything, and we just tend to avoid it. So we need to bring it forward.
absolutely. There, yeah, that's something I've heard. Well, that's not so bad. It's just shh, stop it right there.
Yeah,
It's not just anything, it's a whole thing.
yeah, exactly. And I think there's so many parts that course really highlighted for me that I just shoved all this stuff down and didn't start thinking about it as these big losses that they were, because society told me that I should just get over it. Right. And in a determined amount of time, like it's, oh,
Yeah.
that's not that bad. You should be over that by now. Well, it's still bugging me. Yeah.
I'm not
So,
broken, it's the way it is.
yeah, exactly. Acceptance, right?
Is there any big takeaway that was a win for you? Was there one that you're telling people about or applying to your daily?
I think the hugest thing that I say to almost anyone that will listen is that grief and love are sisters. It's like a two-sided coin. And the other huge piece I kind of touched on already is that there is no length of time that is a prescribed amount of grieving. Grieving is as long as you have the love, you're going to have the grief. Yeah. And that for me has just calmed so much in my brain and heart that, yeah, I'm still sad about that from when I was 15. You know, like when my friend Paul died and affected me and the whole town, you know, and I can still muster up all those emotions because I loved him so much, right? Um, but instead of and I'll let it now. Whereas before I would like so long ago, you know, you don't need to have that feeling anymore and just crush it down. So there's so many things in my life that that's the way I was programmed to do it. I programmed from other people, I programmed myself. And now I like, no, I need to feel it. I need to let it run through me and come up whenever I want, whenever it wants, not when I want, when it wants. And then just like acknowledge it and let it go, you know?
Yeah.
That's been huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can see when I say it to other people, the relief on their face too, that, oh, I have time, you know? Yeah.
So much time.
Yeah. How about you, Pastel?
I've taken emotion, like mood swings differently, uh learning that an emotion lasts 90 seconds is very helpful to me because when a wave hits, if it's overwhelming, then I'll just, hold on to something, or like a table, or I'll try to sit down and I'll just breathe through it and observe what's around me. Just really understand, oh, there's a chair supporting me and the chair is on the earth. And I just get very kind of tactile. I can feel the fabric on me. And then while all this is happening on the inside, sometimes honestly, it feels like my spine is going to be ripped out of my body when the emotions are intense. And so I'll just be like, okay, well, what does that actually feel like? And then observing helps the time pass so that while I'm getting the sweats and the tears and things, I have through lines to hold on to.
Keep you grounded.
Yeah, and that helps me see it through. So to really let it exhaust me is a little bit more satisfying than anything else, and just be like, okay, we went through that. And if it was grief, then it's like, okay, mom, you really ripped one through me. That's good. Woo! And then it can, it can move forward. Because before that, grief was just a lot of like not breathing and trying to blink away the tears and silently crying when no one's looking and then coming back and tits and teeth.
Yeah. 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 I get that for sure. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And you have, I think, a lot of extrasensory emotions happening from spirit and things like that too. So I can imagine it's intense.
So I have a story. There's a whole
Yeah.
lot of stuff, that's for
Yeah.
sure, because the visions have been getting more vivid, more intense. I had this whole vision where I was in a cave and I was talking to a skeleton, and I call it him because it's taller than me. I don't know, it gave me some kind of divine masculine energy. And he didn't have he was like fully just like a skeleton, but talking and in a way that visions come in, it was more telepathy. It wasn't like his jaw was like clicking up and down, but
Okay.
he was a clean skeleton, and it was quite dark and he was nervous, and I was like, it's okay. And uh my rational thoughts within this vision were um there, but they weren't trying to take over. But that part of me had no clue what was coming next. But my actions and my words, I was just moving along, seemed to understand what was necessary. And so I took him over and we were like, yeah, we were in this like dark area. And then we opened around the corner, this room opened up and it was a cave. And anyhow, I death doulaed this skeleton to continue on because I was giving it praise and thanks, and it was holding me, and I was hugging it, and the sensation wasn't bony, but it moved on. And since I had that vision, now I am in a whole new world of premonitions.
Wow. When
It's
did this happen?
a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Amazing.
It was pretty incredible. So I'm wondering if you've had any more uh, nuances pop up for you.
Well, I started studying shamanism.
Tell me
So
everything.
yeah, so it just started. It's a 7 week course that I'm already behind on, but it's not timed with anybody else, so it's all at your own pace. And the first thing I thought of when you said the cave thing is that's one of the first things that we journey, right? So and the first journey was to go to there's the underworld, the middle world, and then the upper world. So the first one we're going to is the underworld, and it's to a cave. So, and you go into the cave, and then you come out, and you're supposed to see some sort of light and just see what you see, right? And now I count like the things that there were some things I wrote them down that I saw during this first journey that I have questions about for sure. And I can't really remember them right off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to look them up. But because I'm really distracted with yours. So do you think you were talking to death?
Yeah, I do.
I think my spirit guide are trees, which would make a lot of sense. One of the visions that they gave me was of a this chair I had just taken in Toronto in the hotel, and
Mhm.
it zoomed in on the ornate carving of the wood, and so I think that was the message that my spirit guides of some sort of wood. It just felt like, oh, it was like symbols of you're on the right path kind of thing. But I don't remember, it wasn't death. I wasn't talking to death like you were. That's cool. Oh,
That's that's really, really dope. I wonder, do you know what kind of trees? Do you know what kind of wood?
no, I have to look up the arm of that chair. Um,
Okay.
because it looks like a very red wood. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to look that up. I wanted to actually put that on the Facebook and see if anybody knew what kind it was. I'll share my findings.
Okay, so shamanism,
Mhm.
death doula work, it's all resonant.
Connected. Yeah, I think it's all connected. And hopefully I just pop out somewhere and it's happening. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a trust in it. People are like, "Well, how are you finding your clients?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not really chasing after dying people being like, "Hey, guess what?" Chaka, chaka, chaka. But
Yeah.
like you just following interests and letting people know that it's there and just letting it happen is the way to go. I've
Yeah.
gotten a lot of, I don't know about you, but I've gotten a lot of online emails saying, "Oh, you're a grief coach now. Do you want to amp up your business? Do you want to scale your work? Do you want to get so many clients a week? And it just doesn't feel like the right path for me. Like the answer is yes, but not through you, not through any.
Yeah. I feel like anytime I push for things, it doesn't come back to me. The energy output, I think it's more, you have to be authentic. You have to be acting in your authenticity. You do need to be out there talking to people. And it's not necessarily about, hey, you can hire me now. It's about, hey, what's happening with you? And then just let things happen. Um, Making money off of the internet is another, anomaly that you could be chasing forever and never get that back either. So I've actually just also joined a spiritual group book club, and it's called Euphoria. And I just had the first meeting on Wednesday, and we have another one tomorrow. And we're reading this book called Whatever Arises, Love That by Matt Kahn, which is a great book. And I think it was actually on our recommended reading list during our cohort. And it's also like filling that big hole that the cohort did actually build for me, was that community of meeting twice a week and hearing like-minded people talk about their lives has such huge impact, right? So that's exactly what this is. And as soon as I know that it's really awesome, I'm going to start sending out invites, and I'll send one to you, see if you're interested. But I think it's, so the guy who's leading this his name is Cole Lynch, and he's somebody I've been following on Instagram. His thing is called Cole.heals, and he's a really attractive guy. So it was like, oh, click. And then he started saying all these things. He like really, he's going through a lot himself, where he was living in Bali and he had a kid with somebody and she took advantage of him and took the kid, and now he doesn't know where the kid is, and he's had to come back to America with his tail between his legs. And he was trying to be something that, like, he was trying to make money, and he grew his page to 130,000 people, and he's made 3 grand,
Yeah.
over many, many years. And he's already burnt out. So it's like, and then this group that he has was like a paid group, and he just turned it free because he's realizing that anytime he's trying to chase money, it's coming back a slap in the face. So I'm going to learn from this guy.
I wanted to ask you about who you are holding in your heart these days. Naturally, this podcast has led to conversations about loved ones, and I know you've lost many people, and they kind of go in and out depending where you're at in your life. What's going on with you in your journey these days?
Well, the most recent loss was a young woman named Tina Evinger. She died December 8th, 2024, after a 5-year battle with cervical cancer. And I just attended her celebration of life on February 3rd. And it's still affecting me. It was so touching. Her mother spoke and her cousin spoke. And she worked with me on the TV show Virgin River, season 1. And it was right after that show that she learned about the cancer. And I always have hope that it's not going to take them, and then when it does, it's such a kick to the stomach, that you just never know. And Tina was beautiful, creative, funny. And I didn't realize this last 5 years was her last. And it's really shook me to see her family gather around in that celebration of life and hold each other. And it just makes me reflect on my life a little bit more. So I'm really honoring her in my daily. I still have her memorial card on my table. And kind of every day I guess say, hey, Tina, I'll live for you. This is for you. Which, yeah, died she was 50 years old. Too young. Yeah.
Wow. And 5 years she had been battling it. Is cervical cancer, like, did you see her go through it? Is it something that it sneaks up on people, doesn't it?
She didn't have a single symptom. When she found out, she was like, it was a shock. It was like my period had never been regular, so that wasn't different. She was tired from the show. That's another thing. My business is really hard on us. We're always in a state of exhaustion. So you don't know what's what. You get, you kind of get normalized, like feeling like shit is normal. And if it's not extreme, you're still within the range.
Yeah.
And I think it was just a regular checkup and it had already gone like super far. And then during that 5 years, I remember reaching out randomly. We saw each other at a union picnic, I think once. And she had all like lost a lot of weight, but she still had her hair at one point. And then I think actually she um, shaved her head, but never actually lost all of it. And it felt like every time I saw a picture of her, she was still her beautiful, smiling self and spreading, love and light. And from the sounds of it, her best friend was one of her cousins, and they had great times all the way up until the end. Family's so important. It's just another reminder, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So have you created your will yet?
It's right there. I've been
You're the only
stalling.
one.
I've been stalling, but I have it physically. I was gonna do it online. I'm like, no, I'm gonna touch paper to pen here, and I'm gonna get her done. It'll be done by next week. I pledge that today.
All right. I hold you too. So by the time this podcast airs, your will be complete.
Yes, yes.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
My goal is to complete my ready to go binder
Yes.
uh, version 1 in, okay, I will tell you to make it accountable 1 month from now.
There's going to be a lot done with this will. I'm going to do the power of attorney and the representation agreement. All comes in with this will kit. So I'll pledge the same there. 1 month. I actually had a new thought for a new name for that. I'm going to call it AID, AID, after I'm dead. I feel like one of the blocks I was having with the all ready to go binder was that when I completed it, I was like telling the word I was ready to go.
You're gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to finish it. But now I need to finish the aid, right? I need to finish the aid for my family after I'm dead.
Yes. I have this spell on my forearm in ink. Wait, no, it's really for me. It's hard to show other people. It's like meant for me. This whole thing is a spell. And one of the books that I pledged to write, I had decided this before I became anywhere near a death doula, is before I go.
Oh, cool.
And that to me also, like you, is not manifesting this ending that yeah, I'm happy to wait for. But
Yeah.
before I go, I just want to get these words out.
I love that. That's great.
I want to thank you. My cheeks feel warm. I'm happy to have had some time with you after a lot of time of intensity with you and then just radio silence, no cohort, nothing.
And I really appreciate this too, Pastel. Thank you for inviting me. I feel honored to be on your podcast.
Thank you. am going to have to invite you back, once the will is completed and
Yep,
the aid book is done, and then perhaps you can create versions for other people to complete, and you can just.
I'd love to. Yeah. Yeah.
So please share with the audience all the different ways in which they can find you.
Well, right now I'm on Instagram at Candace Cruikshank Costume Design. I also have a website, same name.com. And then I have crookshankredemption.com, which is a work in progress, but hopefully by the time you find me, I've got something up there.
Yeah. And there it is. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to get in touch with Candace, I will have her information in the show notes. And if you want to get in touch with me regarding grief coaching or any other end of life death doula related services, please visit me at deathdoulapastel.com. You can also contact me with your stories or topics for discussion at info@pastelsupernova.com or on IG, Instagram at Death Doula Pastel. Please rate, review, and tell your friends. This is an indie podcast, so your support means the world to me. And until next time, blessings and respect.